You're not lazy. You're overwhelmed. Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and already felt tired? Not just physically tired, but mentally, emotionally, like life is demanding more than you have to give. You sit up, reach for your phone, and within seconds, there it is. The flood of reminders, unanswered messages, news headlines, social media, to-do lists, notifications that blink like silent alarms. You're behind. You haven't even had coffee yet. And already, a quiet voice inside you whispers, "You're not enough. You should have done more yesterday. You're so lazy." But what if I told you that voice is wrong? That what you're feeling right now, this inertia, this inner heaviness, isn't laziness. It's not a personal failure. It's a warning sign. You're not lazy. You're overwhelmed. And those are two very, very different things. Let's sit with that word for a moment, lazy. It's sharp. It cuts deep. It's one of the most common labels we throw at ourselves, sometimes even casually. I'm just being lazy today. I should have done more. I'm so lazy. My problem is I just don't have discipline. But let's pause and ask, is that really true? Or have we just been taught to see stillness as weakness? To see rest as rebellion? To see pause as failure? Imagine this scenario. You wake up on a Saturday with a plan. You're going to clean the house, finish a report, go for a run, call your mom, and maybe even finally start that personal project. But by noon, you're still in your pajamas. The sink is full of dishes. You've rewatched a show you don't even like. And you feel that ache of disappointment creep in. Why am I like this? You wonder. Why can't I just do the things I know I need to do? Here's the answer. Because your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's overloading. Modern neuroscience shows us that when we are bombarded with too many tasks, choices, or expectations, our brain experiences decision fatigue. It's like running 50 apps on your phone at once. Eventually, it crashes. And what do we do when that happens to us? We don't call it overload. We call it laziness. But laziness implies choice. It suggests you could act, but you simply don't want to. In reality, most of us deeply want to act, we just can't find the internal gear to shift forward. Because our nervous system is hitting the brakes. Not out of rebellion, but out of protection. Here's something even more profound. Your brain isn't wired for productivity. It's wired for survival. Every time you hesitate, every time you procrastinate, every time you avoid, your brain is scanning for threat. Not just lions or danger in the jungle anymore, but the fear of failure, the shame of not being enough, the judgment of others. It reacts the same way. Your heart rate rises, your body tenses, your focus scatters, and your inner critic grows louder. And then there's the emotional layer. Think of it. How many of your lazy days come after emotional storms? A fight with someone you love. A week full of anxiety. A day where the world just felt too loud. Our emotional energy is not unlimited. And yet, we punish ourselves for needing recovery. We wouldn't expect a sprinter to run a marathon after a leg injury. But we expect our minds to perform at full speed, even when our hearts are bruised. And this is where society's lie becomes dangerous. We've been told that to be worthy, we must always be productive. That we must grind. Wake up early. Hustle hard. Dominate our day. But the truth is, you are not a robot. You're not a spreadsheet. You're a living, breathing human being. And sometimes, just getting out of bed is a victory. Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat down to start a task, and then suddenly remembered 100 other things you should be doing? Have you ever opened your laptop, and just stared at the screen? Have you ever started organizing your desk instead of replying to a difficult email? That's not procrastination. That's your mind trying to regain control in chaos. A cry for clarity when you're drowning in expectation. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer believed that most humans are driven not by logic, but by something he called the will, a blind, unrelenting force to survive and seek pleasure. When we are faced with too much discomfort, too much reality, our will shuts down. We turn away. We self-soothe. We freeze. You're not broken for doing this. You're human. So what do we do? How do we move forward when our minds feel heavy, our hearts feel tight, and the word lazy feels like a chain wrapped around our chest? We start with the truth. And the truth is this: you don't need more motivation. You need less shame. Because the more we criticize ourselves, the more we shut down. Self-attack doesn't create energy, it destroys it. Instead, try something radical. Try compassion. Let's begin small. Step 1. Shrink the task. Don't write the paper. Just open the document. Don't clean the kitchen. Pick up one glass. Don't work out for an hour. Put on your shoes. That's it. These aren't baby steps. They're lifelines. Because every mountain is climbed one step at a time. But your brain won't climb a mountain when it already feels crushed. Show it the first rock, not the summit. Step 2. Use kind language. When you hear yourself say, "I'm such a mess. I'll never change. I'm so lazy," pause. Replace that voice. Try saying, "I'm tired, not broken. I'm healing, not failing. I need support, not shame." The words we speak to ourselves become the lens through which we see our lives. If your inner world is filled with attack, the outer world will always feel like war. Step 3. Move your body. Not for punishment. Not for a goal. But for reconnection. Walk barefoot for 5 minutes. Stretch your arms and breathe deeply. Stand under sunlight. Feel your own skin. Your own breath. Your own presence. Because overwhelm disconnects us from our bodies. And reconnection is the path home. Step 4. Reclaim your attention. Overwhelm thrives in noise. In the 1,000 tabs open on your mental browser, close some. Mute some. Choose what deserves your presence. Let go of what's simply loud. Remember, not everything urgent is important. Step 5. Give yourself permission. Permission to rest. To say no. To be human. To take a break, not when you've earned it, but when you need it. Burnout doesn't knock politely. It shows up like a storm, and by the time you see it, it's already too late. So rest. Not to reward yourself, but to sustain yourself. This is not about giving up. This is about waking up. To your limits. To your needs. To the life you want to live, not the one fear pushes you into. Let's get real. The world doesn't stop. The emails keep coming. The deadlines, the laundry, the news, the bills. But here's the truth. You are allowed to slow down even if the world doesn't. Because speed is not success. And exhaustion is not a badge of honor. If all you did today was survive, that is enough. If all you did was breathe and try again, that is enough. And if all you did was scroll this far, hoping to find a reason to believe in yourself again, here it is. You are enough. Exactly as you are. Right now. Let's pause. And zoom out. What if this season of stillness isn't failure? What if it's your mind creating space for something deeper? Sometimes the soul whispers when the world gets too loud. And sometimes, What we call procrastination is simply a refusal to live someone else's timeline. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once said, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom." We freeze not because we are flawed, but because we're standing on the edge of something new, something that matters, and our body knows it before our mind does. Fear, resistance, inertia. These are not stop signs. They are signals, and learning to listen to them is not weakness. It's wisdom. Let's be honest. We all want to move forward. We all want to feel alive, inspired, fulfilled. But the path there isn't paved with hustle alone. It's carved through awareness, self-kindness, and radical honesty. So ask yourself, what am I avoiding because it feels too big? What story am I telling myself about my worth? What would it look like to move with grace instead of force? Now imagine this: a life where rest is honored, where stillness is sacred, where effort is intentional, not frantic, where you choose your pace, your focus, your voice. That life isn't fantasy. It starts the moment you choose to see yourself differently. Not as lazy, not as broken, but as someone learning how to carry the world a little more gently. Here's the truth. You can be ambitious and overwhelmed, driven and exhausted, motivated and scared. These things can coexist, and none of them make you lazy. Your value is not measured in output. Your worth is not defined by how fast you respond, how clean your inbox is, or how perfectly you perform. You are allowed to pause, to recalibrate, to be human. And when you do, something magical happens. You begin to hear your own voice again. Not the voice of shame, not the voice of culture, not the voice of fear, but the voice that says, "I'm doing my best. I deserve rest. My pace is valid. My softness is strength." So the next time you find yourself stuck, don't shout. Don't push. Don't punish. Pause. Breathe. Place a hand on your heart and say, "I am not lazy. I am learning how to live." Let this be the beginning. Not of a new productivity hack, not of another pressure-filled routine, but of a relationship with yourself that's built on truth, trust, and tenderness. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not alone. You are growing. Quietly, slowly, powerfully. And if this message stirred something in you, if you recognized a piece of your story here, leave a comment. Share your experience. Speak your truth. Because when we talk about what we carry, we start to feel a little less alone. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe. We're not chasing algorithms here. We're building a space for honesty, healing, and human connection. You are enough. And that will never change.